Hello, everybody, and welcome to Whispers Radio here on AM 1600 WKKX, the Valley's Watchdog, and UPRN, the UFO Paranormal Radio Network. It is 6:14 p.m., 53 degrees here in downtown Wheeling, and it is rainy.
Yeah.
It is cold, dark, and rainy.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah, like a dark and stormy night.
Things to go bump in the night.
It was a dark and stormy night. I wish I had Steve's voice to do that. Like I could read poetry if I was.
I'd go
Steve's
Bill
voice.
DeFabio.
Yeah.
Dark
I
and
love
stormy
that
night.
commercial.
Yeah. Quote the raven, nevermore. Nevermore. Anyway, give us a call, 304-214-1600. If you're out of the area, 1-866-514-1600. I'm Jordan Klein here with Nick Queen, Brandon Palmer, and the lovely Lola Miller.
Yeah. I am not a happy girl.
What?
You know,
Proxy.
one day he's going to be in this
proxies.
area. I will give you some good news. If it's not in Firefox, you should be okay.
Huh.
So that's what I'm looking for right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever.
The proxy. You might be okay.
I hate computers more than anything in this whole world. I hate computers.
Let's talk about how Nick's a multitasker right now.
Yeah, he's got
well,
like two
and
computers.
good thing, yes.
He's,
And
he's recording the show, researching the guest, and fixing Lola's computer all at the same time.
Well, thank God he can do more than
And
two things at a time.
It's funny because
can't
looking
chew
over at the
bubble gum, though.
table, looking over from the table that him and Brandon are sitting at, you got Nick with like his evil genius supercomputers, and then Brandon's on the other side like with nothing in front of him. Like he doesn't even have like a pen and a notepad.
I got a pen.
in his pocket
He
protector.
had gummy bears earlier. I mean, geez, what more do you ask?
Oh, I hate computers. I just hate them.
So we got some news, Lo.
Yeah, we do.
And we do.
WikiLeaks?
I don't even know what that means.
George's not even just paying attention anymore.
Is that Wikipedia?
No.
No.
It's that government thing or something I heard.
It's some guy, British guy or French guy or some
Who knows
foreign
where
guy,
he's from?
and he's started this website called WikiLeaks, and he's got some in our government that gives him all this classified information, which he promptly puts online.
And
Really?
everybody can see it.
We're talking like 200,000 secret
Memos and
and-
emails.
But we're not talking like, we got to ship the Coke over to, we're
Yeah,
talking like
no, this is
talking bad about other leaders and stuff.
Yes.
Wow.
Like diplomats.
all the names that they've been calling, or their references to these foreign diplomats, like the guy, somebody is an emperor with no
Emperor
clothes
of
on.
That was,
Sarkozy.
I think it was Sarkozy,
Yeah.
French leader.
And just all bad things about everybody.
Putin's Batman. And the actual president of Russia is Robin.
Yeah.
His sidekick.
Yeah,
It's fun.
it's funny.
Wow.
I wish he'd go ahead and publish the ones he's claiming he's going to publish next year. I want to hear them now.
And the funny thing is, because there's between all this, when they first started going after him, he posted this encrypted file called Insurance, and there was a website I was at that they actually had it where you could download it. It's encrypted; it's very hard to get into, and so it's kind of his insurance. If they catch me, I'm releasing the password. So I want to know what's in that because it's got to be really bad.
It's got to be juicy if they haven't caught him.
They
yet.
have him.
Yeah.
It's like the movie. They have him, and like you'll go away forever, and he just starts laughing. Pulls out his cell phone. What is that? And Twitter, the password. Next thing you know, it's like I don't even want to make up something because they'll probably kill me.
Yeah, really. Yeah. That is not something to speculate about.
Yeah.
Well, what did he leak a few months ago? It had something to do with the Afghan war. Now, granted, I don't think he should be doing this stuff, but it is kind of fun. See, they're coming to get you already, Nick.
I know, and all you did was talk about
I
it.
know it.
The government's good.
So what's this good news, or what's this news you got?
WikiLeaks bad.
Yeah, what news are you talking about?
Well,
I'm sorry, Jordan.
Yeah, you got that so off track.
Hijacked. Okay. Get busy. Get back to work.
I got to try to figure this out now.
He's like, what was I talking about?
He's trying to find WikiLeaks.
Today,
Yeah.
what's today's date?
The 30th.
Today's the 30th of
Yes.
November.
Yes.
Tomorrow starts December.
Yes.
It does.
that means that this is officially the last show
Of 2010.
of Whispers Radio 2010.
That's right.
So I want everybody to cry for a second. Let it out. Keep letting it out, because I know.
Think of the virus, Lola. Sorry.
But we are going to be, basketball season starts.
Right.
And
Next week.
usually that would switch our show to Mondays. And then just found out that, we usually take the 2 weeks off at the end of the year anyway. But one of the Mondays, there's a game, so we would only have one show left after that. So we're just saying, okay, we're having a break from December.
Yeah, we're taking off December for Christmas.
Yeah, our
It's going to
Christmas
take us
break.
30
Yes.
days to shop.
Yeah.
It's a long line.
Yeah. So we'll be back in January sometime. Probably on a Monday.
Yeah,
Mondays.
we will be switching days and hours. I don't even know, but
No,
it'll
we'll
be
keep it 6 to 8.
okay.
But
The weird part, we were talking about shopping. You're working at Macy's now, right? Were you there for Black Friday?
Late. I didn't have to start work until 4. I worked 4 to 11:15, and let me tell you,
How many mixers did you sell?
What? Where the heck did that come
well,
from?
that was one of our jokes. Was
Oh, okay.
that but I did meet my sales goal on that day.
Yay! Claps
That's
for-
because I saw a Dyson vacuum cleaner.
Those things are like $1,000.
I know. The last 2 hours, I think we had 3 people.
You
Wow.
should have
It's
sold
like-
a Kirby.
See, I went and stood
But
in
I'm
line.
not going to their door to do it.
Yeah. There you go.
They're like
Hi, sir,
$4,000.
ma'am. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually stood in
Insert
line.
name.
Yeah, I stood in line for a 50-inch TV on Friday. Or no, Friday?
Yeah. it
Yeah,
was
Friday.
Friday.
Well, we went actually Thursday night because it was the
At
line,
midnight.
and it was just I was bored. I was on call from work anyway, so I was like, I'll just be on call there. So stood in
You
line.
would have been madder than hell if
I
this-
know.
they opened up the line
right
and he'd
next-
get a call.
I took somebody
gotta
with
go.
me, so I had help just in case I did. But we're standing there. It's like 15 till midnight,
Oh,
and
you're,
there's-
you're crazy.
and there's
I-
these.
Did
well,
you get it?
Yes, I did. And there's these
He's
women. We were in the front of the line, so what they did at Walmart was they had the lines for like the big stuff that started at 5 in the morning, so we were there all night. So when we played games, it was fun, and it was fun watching these people. There was people in line like surrounding these
Which
towels
one
that
did
went
you
on
go
sale
to, Highlands or?
at the Highlands.
Oh, I heard that one was better.
Well, I heard there was
than
all
the
kinds
one
of
out
stuff.
at St.
Yeah.
C.
Well, there's
It's
these people
terrible.
that started yelling about towels.
Oh yeah, they're like
Of
50
all the
cents or
stuff,
something.
they were like 30 cents. Well, no, they
Yeah.
were just 30 cents off.
Wasn't there like a fist fight about towels? I heard there was like an actual physical fight about
There was
towels
a
at Walmart.
yelling match about towels. This woman starts taking towels to her, and this other woman's like, "She's taking towels early. She's not allowed to touch those towels." They're like 30 cents off. They sell them regularly, like in the aisle. The woman's telling me, and these people were like, "Well, there's people walking around with 4 or 5 foot tall stacks of towels," and we're like,
I'm
"What are they
sorry.
going to do with these
Yeah.
towels?"
People
So
are nuts.
there's a lot of people out there that are getting towels in your stocking, and I am so sorry.
They'll smell good.
Merry Christmas.
I don't get Black Friday. You couldn't give me that TV for free and make me stand
It
in
was
Walmart
fun.
for 6 hours.
I always
I'm
wanted to go
sorry.
once. I was hoping to see something. I guess there was another fight in electronic, but I wasn't near there.
I
Those
heard
towels.
somebody in an electric wheelchair ran over people.
When was this?
I just heard this.
Listen, my mom is vicious Black Friday
people
shopper.
Like that scare
She
me.
in Delaware, when we were living in Delaware, she would come back with stories. Like one guy she was with, he went with her, and came back and said there was women beating him with crutches. A woman on crutches was like smacking him in the legs. Like my mom would like take crap out of other people's carts.
Oh my
Like,
gosh! Your mom is part of the problem.
She is vicious Black Friday, and I don't because there's sales until Christmas.
That's what I don't
Like
understand.
they're not
is
as good, but there's sales until Christmas, and then they're even better the day after
After.
Christmas.
Yeah.
2 years ago, when my son and everybody came home, we decided we weren't going to do Christmas Day. we're all there and we were all happy and singing carols and all that stuff. But we waited until the day after Christmas, and then we all went shopping, went home, and just traded bags.
There you
It
go.
was wonderful. Saved lots of money. And, what's one day? He always said he was going to tell his kids that Christmas Day got moved to the 27th so he could go out on the 26th and buy toys.
There's
And
not
it's
there's
so
not
much
as big of a
cheaper
variety,
afterward.
but everything
Cheap!
because they're like, all right, what am I going to do with this now?
Yeah, yeah.
Here, take it.
Oh, mercy.
That's when I buy my wrapping paper after the
Christmas.
holidays.
Just save it for
because
next
it's
year.
like, oh, $5 a roll, 50 cents.
Yep. Oh, I know. I should have gotten Christmas lights last year. I didn't do it. Now I'm going to have to pay long price to put Christmas lights on that tree. Although I could just let it look like a Charlie Brown tree again. Why break a tradition?
They're selling those now.
Huh?
I was over Kroger's over in Warwood has a Charlie Brown Christmas tree.
I
Yeah,
heard.
they have
Yeah.
those.
I want one.
I think they're cute.
Yeah.
I did literally have one that looked like a Charlie Brown tree one year. It was
It's like
so-
you're going to pay money for a tree that looks sickly and dying.
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, it's like
like
buying the
20
jeans.
bucks,
It's
too.
like buying the jeans with holes in them.
yeah. I mean,
Sure, if you want to say that.
well, should I get our guest on now or what?
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead. Maybe want to take it for the next 5, and we'll go to a break then,
All right.
and we'll get a call in during the break.
All right.
Okay.
So
Good job, Nick.
I made a decision.
Very good.
Mark that one down.
I know.
So
Tally
again,
that
yeah,
up.
this is our last show for the year, and we're going to miss you guys.
So who's your favorite guest this year? Anybody want to throw that out?
I can't remember.
Father Sebastian.
Oh, please.
Yeah.
Please.
No. Next.
I can't even remember them. We've had some really good ones. Randy,
have.
of course, is one of my most.
Oh yeah. Well,
Randy.
Randy was a lot of fun.
The guy that's going to hypnoptize.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, over the phone.
Randy Rogers.
Yeah. But we've
I was
had
like,
a
you
lot
booked
of
him
good ones.
once.
I know it took me a minute.
But you got it.
What
Good
else
job.
was fun?
well, we went.
We
Riley
did.
Martin.
Riley
Oh,
Martin.
yeah.
Yeah. Was he this year?
Yes.
I thought he was last year. I get confused.
No, I think he was back in the spring, wasn't he? I think it was
everything runs
cold.
together so much, though. You know,
I know.
it's
that's the
surprising.
thing.
I mean, we've been on the air
Too long. Oops. Did I say that
know,
out
it's-
loud?
Ouch.
Oops.
and that's it.
Mhm.
So, 2008 was when we went online, or went on the air, June of 2008. So we're coming up on our
30 year.
third year, and we've had this. This was our third October, though. We should.
Yeah, we just had the 3-year anniversary.
Yeah, that's right.
What?
The numbers
I-
of,
want to say to you, my darling Wilma,
Yes.
even though I have jumped to the light factor out across the void of space, and had the ignominious pleasure of having touched tenderly a number of hybrid women, I have found nothing out there, nor seen anything in the cosmos that would move me like you, my darling.
I can hear Blackmore laughing already.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, Riley, I love you too, sweetie.
we gotta have him back on eventually.
Yeah. You keep
Get-
saying that
get-
about everybody.
Get that second. We've had some people back on.
Very.
We actually no, we have people on more than you think. I know we had one comment somewhere on iTunes, like they can't even get more. Well, I think this is because Jordan and his redneck ways, because he drives that pickup truck with the rifle in the back of it. And listens
Oh, the
to
one,
Rush Limbaugh.
the one that said I listened to Rush Limbaugh to and from the station, and I'm a right-wing zealot.
Oh, you are?
He is.
Oh, yeah,
he
apparently.
is. He's got the Rush Limbaugh tattoo. So,
That's
but we can't get people to come back to the show because Jordan insults them too
Insults
much.
everybody?
Yeah.
See, now, I feel that I've went a lot less insulting to our guests. Because if you
In the
remember,
beginning, or
you remember like the last 2 years, every time we've had a guest on, we'd get off and we'd say, "So, Jordan, what do you think?" And I'd be like, full of crap.
Yes, you've refrained from doing that when we're live on
Well,
the air.
This was because you asked. This is because you asked somebody running a paranormal magazine whether they lean left or right.
I thought that was, I thought
funny.
that was funny.
I don't even
Listen.
think you were. I think you were just like, I don't know what else to ask, and you asked.
Listen, because I was taking politics up at West Liberty.
See,
and I
knowledge is a dangerous thing.
And I for the class, I subscribed to the National Review. Like I didn't read it, but I looked at the covers. Let's
flip through
be
the
real.
pictures.
Let's be real. Like I'd get it, and I felt more complete as a person because I had this, magazine. Like, yes, of course I subscribe to the National Review. I care about what's anyway.
And while he's saying that, he's taking his glasses off, looking at them.
So we're sitting there, and we spend the whole day that day talking about right or left leaning, and this girl was like, "Hey, yeah, Paranormal Magazine." So I was like, "Huh, funny." Like I have no filter that like turns off like when I should say something and when it doesn't. And I thought that was a good time to shoot out a hey.
Shoot that one from the hip. Yeah.
Anyway, on that note, let's go to break. All right, Nick, who's our guest going to be?
Guest is going to be Mike Bara.
What are we talking about?
Well, he's the author of The Choice and Dark Missions.
And we're going to be talking about all kinds of good stuff. You're listening to Whispers Radio. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to Whispers Radio here on AM 1600 WKKX, the Valley's Watchdog, and UPRN, the UFO Paranormal Radio Network. It is 6:35 p.m., 53 degrees, and raining out here in downtown Wheeling.
Yes, it is.
Give us a call at 304-214-1600. If you're out of the area, 1-866-514-1600. That's toll-free. You know why it's cold, dark, and raining, Lola? Because the world, the universe, is going to miss us this month.
That's right. It's sad already.
The city of Wheeling is sad.
Yes.
I was going to say because it's November.
No, it's December tomorrow.
It's November right now.
Oh,
All right, Nikki, you want to introduce our
Not
guest?
a romantic bone in his body.
There's
He
none.
doesn't.
I know.
But what he lacks in romantic bones, he makes up for it.
Yeah,
All right.
Who's
Anyway,
our
Introduce
guest?
and we'll be back to
Nick?
Jordan in a little bit. All right, Mike Bara is a New York Times best-selling author, screenwriter, and lecturer. He's a self-described born-again conspiracy theorist. His first book, Dark Mission, The Secret History of NASA, New York Times bestseller in 2007. His new book, The Choice, Using Conscious Thought and Physics of the Mind to Reshape the World. Mike, are you with us?
I am here, guys.
How's it going, Mike?
Hey, pretty good. I'm in Redondo Beach, and it's it's a little bit cool. It's bright and sunny, so
I'm jealous.
hate to rub that in, but hey.
Just hang up right now.
But you just had to. I know.
Well, it costs a lot. It costs a lot to live here, but it's worth it.
Well, the weird part is yesterday, like I go home and it's like 30 degrees, and I'm carrying wood up, and we're bundled, and I wake up this morning, I go start your car to warm it up. I walk out, it's like 50, and I'm just. What the heck is wrong with this? It's
When I used to live in Minnesota, 50 was summertime. I mean, that was nice.
Well, I just walked back inside. I'm like, I'm not even going to start my car. It's just, jeez. So now, I want to get to your book, The Choice. I kind of want to first start, kind of how you got to this idea, because your first book. If you looked at the two books, you would think, well, this isn't the same guy. It can't be. His first one, he's talking about NASA, and now he's talking about, metaphysics, that which can happen. But I want to see kind of how you got to this.
Well, there's kind of a personal story involved with that, but part of it was just that it's all related. I mean, one of the key things about Dark Mission that is sort of overlooked, unfortunately, is that what's called the hyperdimensional physics aspect of it. In other words, this is this theory that Richard Hoagland and Errol Torin have had since the 1980s, really, that the mathematical relationships between the monuments of Mars, these ruins on the surface of Mars that are either extraterrestrial or somehow related to human beings, this math drove them, inspired them to start looking at the original origins, the early origins of John Clerk Maxwell's work on electromagnetism, and the fact that he had incorporated higher spatial dimensions into his equations. And it really inspired Richard and Mr. Torin to go deeply into all the different possible aspects of what would the universe, the three-dimensional universe, really look like if there was, in fact, higher dimensions, and if energy could be pulled in from those higher dimensions. So that's really kind of the basis of of the choice. To tell you the truth, that whole thing all goes back to aliens on Mars, and in fact, it's funny. I was told by a friend. I have some friends that are spiritual mediums, and I'm not, that whether you believe in that stuff or not, I certainly know them well enough to trust that they're connected to something.
All of them?
And well, a lot of them, yeah. And, well, here's the thing. I think that the issue is that you can have a talent, but how you develop that talent and train yourself and discipline yourself makes a big difference in your accuracy. And so these people that I've dealt with, in my opinion, are very well disciplined and very well trained. So that, to me, separates them from Miss Cleo or something on TV. But the point is that they kind of told me that that the aliens that built these monuments were kind of laughing at me and Richard because according to them, we got Dark Mission all wrong. It was all dark and conspiracy oriented, and they really were trying to give us a gift, which is this incredible physics, which is the real physics of how the universe actually works. And when you go beyond that, when you take the next couple of steps, which is what I did this last year, you start to realize that really this theory of hyperdimensional physics, which was gifted to us, I guess, by whoever built these monuments on Mars, really explains everything. It explains not just the physical reality that we live in and the future that we're going to face, but also our consciousness, our thoughts, our feelings, and it gives a backbone to all this metaphysical stuff, auras and chakras and all that stuff that nobody really wants to take seriously.
Sorry, Nick keeps slamming the door for whatever reason.
Okay, I surprised somebody there, I guess.
Yeah.
I think he's got the sniffles or sneezing.
Yeah, he threw everybody's focus out right there at the end, so I
We're
apologize.
talking about you.
We're trying to have a serious conversation and you start slamming the door.
I am so sorry.
Well, so
What?
are you all right?
Yes, I'm
Oh,
fine. I'm sorry.
okay.
He just got up and ran out.
I have an allergy attack.
I
I'm
didn't know
sorry.
what was going on. I'm sorry to our guest.
I scared him that bad, huh?
Yes, yeah, I had to run. Sorry, I'm
We got a caller?
Yeah, Mike, we've got Blade wants to ask you a question.
Hey.
Mike, how much credence do you put in the fact that NASA said that they overflew the so-called face on Mars and that it's a trick of lighting, mountains and lighting? I'll hang up and I'll listen to your answer off the air because I'm on the road.
Okay.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for your call.
Well, the answer to that question is that I put zero credence in that interpretation. I mean, that's what they've been saying for going on 30 years now, and it was a lie in the beginning, and it's a lie now. I mean, they initially made the argument that the face on Mars was just a trick of light and shadow, and they even claimed in a press conference the day after the image was first taken in 1976 that on an orbit a couple of hours later they took another picture, and gosh, it all just went away. It wasn't, it was really just a trick of light and shadow. Well, it turns out that because of the fact that the Viking orbiter was in a polar orbit and Mars, of course, spins and rotates underneath it, a couple hours later on the next orbit, they were nowhere near Cydonia, where the face on Mars was, and they later admitted, after about 15 years of arguing, that they didn't take any such pictures and no such pictures ever existed. So, they've been BSing us from the beginning. They have taken lots of pictures of the face on Mars. In fact, for something that they claim is just an ordinary hill, it is the most photographed piece of real estate on the planet Mars by far. There's nothing else that is even remotely close to that. In fact, I remember Whitley Strieber a few years ago, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, said that some NASA scientists were complaining to him that Dr. Michael Malin, who controlled the Mars Global Surveyor, was taking so many pictures of the face on Mars that they couldn't get the rest of their scientific research done. So there's probably way more pictures of the face that have been
Whitney Strieber. He wrote the book
Communion and
yeah.
Transformation, and all of the majestic, whole bunch of stuff on visitors, ETs, extraterrestrials, pan-dimensional beings, whatever the heck they are. I don't know. Are they aliens or are they just visitors from the next frequency? I really don't know.
All right, so now let's go ahead and get into kind of the into the book choice. First and foremost, the tagline here. Let me see here. Is the secret now, make the choice. What
Right.
exactly do you mean by that?
Is this a
Well-
book on religion? Or is
No, it's not a book on religion. It's basically it's trying to tie together all of the stuff that's going on in our culture, on our planet right now, including the physical changes, the Earth changes, the weird number of ET and UFO sightings that are going on, and this whole 2012 energy that we've got ourselves into. And what I figured out was that all this stuff is being driven by this hyperdimensional physics, which basically is, the physics, the energy that's being generated by all the planets around us in the solar system, and by the alignment we're coming up to with the center of the Milky Way galaxy in 2012. So, to tell you the truth, really, what the essence of the book is that, all this stuff that's getting really, really weird out there is going to just continue to keep getting weirder. I mean, we're under a lot of pressure. Our financial structures, our government structures, all these things are under a tremendous amount of pressure, and basically the physics predicts this. It says that, if you look at the astrology, which is connected to the positions of the planets, it's all hooked together. We're going to go through a period where we're going to question basically everything about the way we do business on planet Earth. And that's, to me, not a bad thing. That's a really good thing. And it seems like that we're going to go through an apocalypse. And you got to keep in mind that the apocalypse, the word apocalypse, doesn't mean death, destruction, cataclysm, devastation. It literally means to lift the veil or reveal that which has been hidden. And so that's what we're going to go through. We are in an apocalypse, but keep in mind that the apocalypse is not something that just happens to you. It's something you play an active part in deciding the outcome of. So that's kind of the essence of it. Now, as far as The Secret goes, The Secret was really interesting to me because it was very popular, and it got a lot of people, especially young people, focused on metaphysical things and this idea that you could pray or meditate or whatever you want to call it and actually physically manifest things in your existence. Now that's fine though, but the problem with The Secret is that all it really gives you is selfish things. It's great if all you want is a fast car, a big house, and a hot girlfriend. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I mean, I wouldn't mind all those things myself, but that's all selfish. And what I'm trying to convince people is that what really the transition we're going through, this energetic wave that we're going through in these next 5 or 10 years, we're going to need to think higher than that. We're going to need to aspire to be more than that. And what I talk about in The Choice, what the choice is to me, is choosing for others, for the rest of the planet, not just for yourself, not wishing for yourself or demanding for yourself like the Secret teaches you to do, but actually choosing for others what kind of world you want them to live in, how you want it to look, whether you want it to be peaceful or in conflict. And what I'm trying to do is convince people that there really is a way to create sort of a counter wave of energy that will tune the planet itself to the higher frequency that we all want to be in, and the better way of life that we all hope for.
Now, let me ask and see if we can take this to the next level, because we've had shows with our guests. How do they say that? With your mind, with the power of your mind, you can create, like you said, you can put things into existence, but you can actually create hauntings. You can create. I think we had a guest talked about a writer that stayed in this little abandoned house in this room and wrote this horror series or something like that, where the main character, was this big guy with a brimmed hat and all this. Well, he wrote the book, left, but he spent so much time focusing and so much time thinking about this character that people are saying that in the window they see this man in a brimmed hat in this abandoned house.
Yeah.
Now, do you?
Yeah. Well, what I suspect is that what he's actually doing is actually channeling that information. This guy probably is somebody who maybe had something to do with that house. And again, this is more of a question for my spiritual medium friends than me. But yeah, he is connected to some energy, and there's a story to be told here apparently. And this character, this entity, whoever he is really probably working through this writer to produce this. I mean, it's interesting. This piece of work. It's interesting because I do fiction also, and I've got a novel out to publishers right now in New York City. There's a couple of them looking at it right now, and I've got a couple of screenplays, 3 of them actually in various stages of development.
Congratulations.
And actually 4 of them, and 2 of them came to me in dreams on nights when I came home and I was like, I'm not feeling that great. I maybe was down a little bit, and I literally said to the universe before I went to bed, throw me a bone here. And then I had this dream, this entire dream that basically it's like a 2-hour movie, and I just got up and did a voice memo into my iPhone and saved all those recordings and sat down, and I got a whole movie there. It's happened to me twice in the last year. So you definitely can do that if you are, spiritually tuned and if you're focusing on that kind of thing. There's no question that we can alter reality, our own experience, and more than just our own emotional experience, but actually alter our reality by thinking these things. I mean, right now I literally today just finished the first draft of a screenplay I'm working on with my brother that did not come from a dream, by the way, but came from his own heart and mind. And who knows? Maybe it will sell right away and make us both famous screenwriters. I don't know, but certainly it has the potential to change my life. All you have to do in Hollywood is get one film made, and you're in pretty good shape. So,
Now, here's the thing. But first off, for those that are wondering, The Secret's actually
how do we get
another.
up on this?
Yeah, I wanted to make sure. When we're talking about The Secret, we're actually talking about another book. The author of Rhonda Byrne. The Secret came out in 2006. For those, because I think there's a couple that are like, well, what's the secret behind this book, The Secret?
Well, it was Oprah made it.
Did Oprah? Okay.
Oprah made it really famous, right?
Yeah. Oprah made
that's-
it really famous, and there's a film going around, and unfortunately there's a lot of people involved with it that are not of the highest level of integrity, and that's damaged it a little bit. Yeah, that's putting it mild thing. We won't mention any names, but I think it did serve a purpose. But to me, the problem was when I look at The Secret, the problem for me was that you have all these people that are successful. They've all been successes in life to some extent, at least financially in many cases. And so what they're doing is they're telling people, well, this is how I did it, right? But the thing is, to me, I believe that everybody has, a soul purpose and a life path. And the soul purpose is the lesson you came here to learn, and the life path is the way you decided to experience that lesson, And in some cases, you came here to be a ditch digger. You didn't come here to be Bill Gates. You didn't come here to be rich and powerful. And I start a lot of my lectures by saying, okay, how many people here have read The Secret or seen the movie? And pretty much everybody's hand goes up. And then I say, okay, how many of you are rich and famous? And pretty much everybody's hand goes down. And the fact is, these people had it built into their life path that they could be that successful. Not that they necessarily would, because you can always opt out of your destiny, but they could be that successful if they chose to. And so then other people, they try these things, and maybe it works on a small scale, but it doesn't ever really work for them on a larger scale, and then these poor kids feel like failures. And what I'm trying to get people to understand is that it's really more of a question of know thyself. Find out what you came here for. In you guys' cases, you're here to be teachers of some kind. That's obviously why you've got this show. Maybe you're never meant to be as big as Oprah, but you're here to teach on a certain level and to a certain audience. And, that's just really important for people to appreciate, that we're not necessarily all cut out to be the richest guy on the block.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because that was quite the talk. I'm on another show during the day.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, when The Secret came out, that was, everybody was watching this video and reading the book and trying to practice all these things. And I thought at the time, that is pretty selfish, that,
oh, yeah.
okay,
yeah.
I'm going to do all this. I'm going to, channel all my energy into what? Into making me rich or famous or both.
Mm-hmm.
And I never quite fell into that whole thing.
Yeah, and again, if part of your purpose in coming here was to be a good person and be appreciated for who you are and not for your money, let's say that was your purpose, then you're going to be in conflict with that. Like, one of the things I know about my path is that I have to work hard for everything I'm going to get. So I think it's possible in this lifetime for me to be successful and fairly well known. But it's pointless for me to buy lottery tickets, right? Because that's not the way I've chosen to experience a lesson. So there's all kinds of subtleties to this, and it's just really sad that they convince people by appealing to their selfish interests, to kind of misuse this power that we all have, I think.
Well, and too, that I know so many people that, ponder this huge question of, why am I here? It must be to do God wants me to do this grand and glorious thing. And I'm thinking, maybe God just wants you to be a good person, raise wonderful kids, that they're healthy and successful. And that is the point that God put you on earth for. Not that there has to be this great, glorious purpose to life, that living life and being happy and being successful in your own little circle are the reasons enough that God has put you here.
Yeah, but you know what? It's hard for anybody to do that. It's hard for me. It's hard for me to settle for that. I'm like, maybe what if that was, in my case? It would be hard for me to settle for that. It's hard for us to give up these bigger dreams. But you're right. I think The Secret just sort of encourages people to think that way when they really should be trying to find out what is it that makes me happy.
Well, see, and I think, though, if you can at least acknowledge the fact that perhaps you're not here for this great, glorious thing, because otherwise you spend all your life, people I know, worrying about why they're not getting it. What are they missing? So your whole life is wasted.
That's a great example. I know there's a guy I met this last year. He's about 30 years old, and he's trying to be an actor, and he's an excellent actor, but he hasn't really gotten anywhere in acting. But to support his acting job, what he's done is he's basically working at a daycare center with kids, right? And you should see how he lights up when he talks about these kids and how, I'm sitting there looking at him going, dude, haven't you figured it out? You're meant to be working with the kids. That's what you're meant to be doing. The acting thing isn't necessarily what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be, I think he got into the acting so he'd end up working with the kids is how it all works out. So, you just got to, but again, you have to let people learn their own lessons, and you can't really sit there and even sometimes when I can see exactly what somebody needs to be doing, it's not that easy for me to say.
Well, they don't want to hear
go back
it
to
either.
Denver with your family, or whatever. So.
Yep.
Anyway, we're way off on the metaphysical.
We should.
We're going to talk about UFOs and stuff.
Well, we can. I mean, I do want to get into because that does kind of this somehow all ties in together, and and that's I do want to get into that. Part of it. Let me get settled down here, back from where we were. We were way out there. So
it's getting awfully breezy out here on this limb right now.
It is.
Don't you like the sound of wood cracking? I do.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
So, there's this physics. You were talking about the math before that we, that backs up all of this. And you came out, when the book came out, you strongly advocated. And I know we're getting close to the break time, so we can get into this a little bit, and then we can come back and talk about it even more. But something called the exploded planet hypothesis.
Right.
Let's go ahead and set that up, and then when we come back, we can go ahead and go into what proof you
into
have
details.
about that.
What is? Just tell us briefly what it is, and then we'll jump into it after the break.
Well, the exploded planet hypothesis is simply the idea that there's a couple of missing planets in this solar system, and one of them would be where the asteroid belt is between Mars and Jupiter, and the other one is around where Mars orbit is right now. And because those planets are missing, the physics of this solar system is different, and that means the kind of life that can live here and exist here is different, and it's changed, I guess, what the original intent of the solar system was supposed to be.
All right, so kind of, let me see if I can get this here. So God will plans out this universe the way it's supposed to be. Something comes, destroys. You're saying 2 planets?
Yeah, at least 2. And actually, Dr. Tom Van Flandern, who's the sort of the father of this, the late Dr. Tom Van Flandern, he actually postulated 4 planets.
4
have been destroyed. I don't necessarily agree with him on that, but he's smarter in math than I am, so we'll let him.
Sure.
So okay, we'll get into this after.
Right.
Yeah, but so that's what you're saying though is that the physics of an area. I don't want to say feng shui, but maybe
feng shui.
Feng shui.
All physics. The key thing to remember is the way Richard puts it. All physics is local. All physics is local. The laws of physics are a localized phenomenon depending on the configuration of the solar system you're inhabiting.
That's getting okay.
That's mind-bending, huh?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, we just took this from a whole nother level.
Yes.
So science determines real. I mean, I don't see, physics determines the path your life would take, and the path that all of our lives would take. I mean, even history, if you think about it. Is that what you're kind of saying?
Actually, well, yeah, because I mean, what happens is that again, astrology is backed up by astronomy, and the physics says that when the planets are in certain positions, which are considered advantageous or positive aspects in astrology, human consciousness is dramatically affected, as are physical instruments, random number generators, electronic devices, and again, I talk about it in the choice. I talk about all these different experiments that show that the positions of the planets, as they shift and change into different positive or negative astrological aspects, there's plenty of experiments that actually show that this does have an effect on physical reality here on the Earth, and by implication, our own thoughts, because radio waves can be affected by the positions of the planets.
I'm gonna blow your mind with what I think about this after the break. We do have to cut for some CNN. You're listening to Whispers Radio, and we will be right back. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Whispers Radio here on AM 1600 WKKX, the Valley's Watchdog, and UPRN, the UFO Paranormal Radio Network. It is 7:09 p.m., 52 degrees and rainy here in downtown Wheeling. Give us a call, 304-214-1600. If you're out of the area, toll free, 1-866-514-1600. I'm Jordan Klein here with Nick Queen, Brandon Palmer, and the lovely Lola Mara.
Keep it up. Keep it up.
All right, we're
still
talking.
With us, Mike?
Oh yeah, I'm still here. I'm
okay.
just wondering when the brief nudity is going to happen, though.
Let me tell you,
Very
if this webcam was on, because it's only focused on me. There's 4 people in here, but it only focuses on me. And if it was on, you would see the brief nudity. And that's why they shut it off.
And there's your proof that the physics in this universe is screwy.
Or compassionate, one of the two.
Well, yeah, it is a compassionate universe.
Now, here's my view, because we were talking about how everything in the solar system moves in a certain way to create other things. That's kind of what you were going off of. The way I see it, it's like God made this huge. I want to say gears of like a pocket watch. You know how everything moves in the universe. Everything creates and everything moves in the universe. And the way everything moves is for like a central thing, like our lives and how it's affected. Everything around us completely moves and gears its way in order to construct our lives. If that makes any sense at all. Because if you look at the size of the universe and the things that are going on, like there's crazy stuff way out there that create stars. They're like columns of stuff that they like pop out and shoot out stars. Stuff like that. It's like, what's that's purpose? Like, why is that there? What it's doing there? How is that affecting everything else around it?
Well,
I see it as gears of like a watch.
Yeah, no, I think that's actually a terrific analogy. Although I am told that there are things that happen that are kind of random and aren't necessarily supposed to have a big meaning in your life. I mean, I was coming home from Arizona a couple of weeks ago, where I just had the privilege of watching the Seahawks stomp on the Cardinals, and as I was driving onto the freeway, a cat ran right in front of my car, and I hit him and killed him. And I love animals. I have 2 cats. They're my favorites, and it really sucks. And I'm like, you're trying to find some meaning in that, but I guess in the small things sometimes it's just a gigantic machine. The way it was described to me is the universe is a gigantic machine with all these different gears and things that are interlocking, and sometimes you just kind of things just cross over, and you have things cross your path that aren't supposed to at a given moment, and you have little accidents. But I agree with you in that the bigger sense is that everything is connected, especially for us. It's our solar system that's completely connected. It's we are definitely synchronized with the sun and all the planets, and the sun is synchronized with the center of the galaxy, and this galaxy is synchronized with other galaxies, and it's just this big, gigantic machine that moves according to geometry and mathematics, and it's really a phenomenal piece of work for sure.
Oh yeah, We got a question in the chat room from New York Lily. She says NASA is having a news conference on Thursday about a discovery in astrobiology. Do you have any theories as to what the discovery is?
No, I don't. It's entirely possible it has something to do with life in a meteorite again, or maybe something to do with Mars. Now, the problem is that NASA's on a very, very slow-moving, timed-release aspirin kind of a schedule. And we talked about that in Dark Mission, Richard and I. And the bottom line is that, they release things when they choose to release them, but they've known about this stuff for decades. I mean, really, the Viking landers in 1976, both of their tests came back positive for life, and NASA essentially attacked those results and has poo-pooed them and played them down for decades. But the guys that originally did the work, Dr. Gil Levin, that did the original work, he's adamant that he got life, and he's explained it in great detail and makes a very convincing case. So it could just be, I know that there's been pressure on them to, more and more it's becoming obvious that Levin's arguments are more powerful than the NASA arguments. It could be that they've reached a point where maybe there's like, well, yeah, there were bugs on Mars, or there might be under certain conditions. But, bottom line is...
Hey, life is life.
Well, they found fossils there with these two rovers they just put up about 4 or 5 years ago. There was fossil right in the middle of this picture, and that they took of a rock, and they drove right up to this fossil and ground it into dust because they didn't want anybody to realize what it was. They took the one picture and went, "Oh, holy crap! There's a fossil. We better drill that thing out." And so they're not going to be very forthcoming. I don't think. I just don't trust them essentially, and I think they have an agenda that's their own, and it is not necessarily compatible with the truth. Now, having said that, one of the things I will tell you about this period in history that all of the ancient cultures talk about and that the physics actually states is that, we are in this period of apocalypse where things will be revealed, where we will start to have truths come out. And you never know. I mean, I'm prepared for almost anything at this point because there is this sort of conscious pressure on all of our institutions to start revealing the truth about a great many things. I think our financial system, there's a lot of truths having to do with that are going to shock people when they actually, are brought into the light.
What is their purpose in not telling us, though? That's what I don't understand. Our government, or the world government, if you want to even go that far, why would they? What do they think they're keeping from us?
Yeah, it comes back to the Jack Nicholson speech in A Few Good Men. You can't handle the truth. They believe, and they've always believed from the beginning, NASA to a great extent, that and the people that they work for, that we simply would go crazy if we knew that there was once a superior extraterrestrial civilization in the solar system, or even a related human civilization in the solar system. And it also brings up the really uncomfortable question, which is, okay, if there were ruins on the moon and ruins on Mars, and they are obviously more technologically advanced than us, why are they ruins? What happened to them? And when you start asking that question, then you start getting into things like the exploded planet hypothesis, which tells you that, guess what? Planets in this solar system can and have exploded. Now, whether they were exploded or whether they exploded on their own is another debate, but that's not a very comfortable thing for about 7 billion human beings that are living on, guess what? A planet. So, if you want to break down the hierarchical structures of this culture, start right there. That's a good place to start, and you will start a chain of events that will really make a lot of things come unraveled. So that's their big resistance.
Here's what exact timetable are we looking at? Like 2012, or
yeah?
Are we all going to die?
No, we're not all going to die.
See, that's where I was going to ask too. Where does all of this, in the great scheme of this huge machine, do we fall in 2012?
Well, okay. First of all, let me tell you that I believe in the 2012 era, which is the next 10 or 12 years up till about 2023, where there will be a lot of really dramatic changes on the Earth, and it's not necessarily everything has to happen by December 1st, 2012. Having said that, there's a lot of really interesting astrological and astronomical alignments in these next 2 years that are going to, I think, create really dramatic shifts in our way of thinking and our way of perceiving the universe around us, basically. So the essence of the choice is that, we do have a choice in what happens with 2012. Can it be a pole shift? Can it be a solar flare? Can it be magnetic pole shift? Can it be horrible earthquakes? Can it be a great flood? Yeah, it can be all of those things, but it can also be that we all ride off into the sunset singing Kumbaya. And what I'm trying to get people to understand is that this is the way the energy of the universe really works. It's based on this physics, and as part of that, we can set the tone or set the frequency for what is going to happen and what our planet's going to be like in 10 years, as opposed to the traditional Western idea that there's this day of judgment and everybody gets judged, good, bad, you go to heaven, you go to hell. The Mayans themselves, about 2012, there's a monument in Tortuguero, Mexico, Monument 6, and it actually says that what will happen is that Kukulkan or Quetzalcoatl will ride a serpent rope from the center of the galaxy, manifest here in 3D, and pass judgment on the human race and on this planet. Now that sounds like not a lot of fun. It sounds like a bad hair day for everybody. But the serpent rope is really this pulse of energy. It's called torsion. I discuss it in great detail in The Choice, and I think people like David Wilcock and Richard Hoagland have talked a lot more about torsion even than I have. That's what they're talking about. Is this? They understood that there would be this pulse of energy from the center of the galaxy, and that it would hit us here, and then it would cause changes on the Earth. Now, the judgment,
like solar flares type of thing? Is that what happened?
But here's the thing. The judgment. Everybody assumes the judgment is biblical, westernized, Day of Judgment kind of stuff. Revelations 20:12. It's not. It's not that kind of judgment. The judgment is, okay, here I am. What do you want me to do with your planet? Because the energy itself is neutral. It has no inherent intent one way or the other. What I'm trying to get people to appreciate is that our consciousness, our conscious state of mind, is going to set the intent of the planet, and I know this sounds like wacky New Age stuff,
no, I
but
get
that's
it.
going to tell this energy what to do with our planet when it gets here. And the more of us that are focused on the positive and riding off into the sunset singing Kumbaya, oh my God, that sounds boring, but the more of us that are focused along those lines, the more likely it is we're going to get a positive result and a positive change, as opposed to some of these very negative Earth changes and New World Order type of conspiracy things that we hear about all the time. Those things are out there, and they're possibilities, and that's actually why nobody can tell you exactly what really is going to happen in 2012, because we haven't decided yet. It could be any of these things.
I just got it. That's why, honestly,
Yeah,
I mean,
awesome.
it was like this
Another convert.
great revelation. Instead of, because when you say Judgment Day, everybody does associate it with Western religion, which is a higher being judging our behavior.
Right.
But if I'm hearing this right, it is us judging how we want the world to progress after that point.
Or this spiritual entity, this energy coming from the center of the galaxy, which again I can document in the physics. This does happen. It has been happening. It will happen on December 21st, 2012. This energy is simply judging what we want it to do with our planet. And I think in previous incarnations of the human race, we've become very unspiritual. The Hopi teach us this, that we've become very unspiritual. We have been turned away from God, and we've kind of decided, let's wipe the slate clean and start over again. So then we get floods and ice ages and solar flares. And what I'm trying to get people to appreciate is that this time around, we can choose something different. Yeah. Now, the other thing, too, that's really interesting is that the Mayans also talk about what will happen around this time. And what they say is that everyone will face a hall of mirrors, and they will pass judgment on themselves. So the judgments that are taking place are, first of all, our judgments of ourselves. We're not going to be able to avoid being who we are. The physics is going to drive our consciousness to be more of who we are. If we're good people, we're going to become better. If we're bad people, we're going to become worse. And that will help determine what the overall intent of the planet is. So you've got the judgment of the individual, of himself, not the judgment of some vengeful God, but the judgment of ourselves, by ourselves, and then the judgment of this energy force of what we want it to do with our planet. So you nailed it.
Have you read, I just finished reading The Taking. Yeah, I think.
I have not read it.
Is that with Liam Neeson?
No. No, it's, Kuntz, Dean Kuntz wrote it. And it's a novel, but in essence, that is what he was saying in this book. It starts out with this like horrific rain, and then bad things start happening. But what happens is at the end you find out that it's not aliens, it's not any of the things that the people that survived thought it was. It was like a new age, a new way of the flood that Noah. That whole story where God finally said, "You guys have really blown it." You no longer look at murder as something terrible. Genocides are happening. You've ruined the planet. You're killing everything off. I've had it. And who survives are the very people that were teachers, and not necessarily a school teacher, but somebody that had something really to offer, that was a good person, and the children.
Right.
Because that's what was needed for the world, for humanity to resurrect itself.
Right, and this is what all the ancient cultures say has happened to us previously, and I think this is a racial memory of it having happened before. And look, I just got to say, I'm really optimistic. I'm full of hope. I think there's way more good people and spiritual people than there are non-spiritual people. I mean, I look at the descriptions of these previous ages of man that the Hopi talk about, and even the Hindus and the Mayans a little bit, and we're nothing like those. I mean, we have our issues here, but we're in a lot better shape than is commonly believed. And what I'm trying to get everybody to focus on is to stay positive, stay hopeful, and to understand that it's ultimately up to us to choose this. It doesn't have to be enslavement in the New World Order. It doesn't have to be physical catastrophes, earthquakes and floods and all that. It can be exactly anything that we choose it to be. It can be, a better, more honest monetary system. It can be all kinds of different things. It can be, do we all want to go off and sing Kumbaya into the sunset? I don't know. But it can be whatever it is, whatever we choose it to be.
Because of the power of thought.
Because of the power of thought. And that's far more powerful than some solar flare. It really is. I mean, each human being is like a 100 to 150 watt light bulb. But think about this. Within a 100-watt light bulb, there's enough atoms that if you split them all, you'd have a bigger nuclear arsenal, more power than all of the nuclear arsenals on the other planet ever put together. And that's one light bulb, and there's 7 billion of us that are generating that, and we're recreating it in any given moment. So if we can focus our intent and focus our thoughts, and the Bible and some other documents say it only takes a certain percentage of us to do this, then we have the power to decide what's going to happen to our planet. And again, there's in the choice in my book, I talk about physical experiments, actual experiments that prove these concepts out. That this is not just airy-fairy New Age stuff. There's actually a physical background behind all this dumb, crazy, hippie, metaphysical stuff that we've all talked about and kind of believe, but not really been able to quantify, for the last couple decades. And one other thing too, the other thing is that look, I don't know what there's other things that could happen. It's likely to get really weird here. I mean, we've had these UFO sightings where we've had these large UFOs just hanging over cities for 2 or 3 days.
Oh yeah, like
and
Phoenix.
That kind of, according to the physics, that kind of thing is going to increase because you're going to get bleed-throughs of other entities, other beings. I think everybody's here. The aliens are coming here because they want to see, what's going on, what's going to happen, what are they going to decide. Everybody's curious about what's going to go on here. So I expect things to continue to get really weird. I think we're going to have a lot of things happen that are unprecedented over the next few years, and that's going to become pretty obvious. It's going to become pretty obvious that something weird's going on because we're going to be using the word unprecedented a lot.
Now, we
already are.
Do you think like the aliens and stuff like that come in the UFOs? Do you think that is beings from outer space, or do you think that is dimensional?
Yes. I think it's a little both.
Okay.
I think there's some lower. I think there's some lower vibration, 3-dimensional aliens that use conventional technology like we do, hanging around here. And I think that there's these higher dimensional beings that interact with us and probably try to guide us. And I talk about that in the choice. I talk about different ways that you could move through these different dimensions. So I think it's really a combination of things. And I believe in contact, but I just don't know that we're ready yet, and I don't know that they're ready yet. So they're in a sense they're time travelers too, because they're in our future. We're catching a glimpse of the future, which is going to be a future where we are going to live in what Carl Kalaman, Dr. Carl Johann Kalaman, calls the galactic underworld of the Mayan calendar, which is this next phase that we're going into, and that's where we become aware of the fact that we're galactic citizens, not just planetary citizens, which is where we've been, consciously for the last 20, 30, 40 years. But now we're moving into a phase where we're going to become aware of the fact that we're galactic citizens, and that means we're going to have visitors from the local area. So I expect that kind of stuff to really accelerate as well.
It's like playing the game Spore. You ever play that?
No.
Oh. Cause, you build your way up through civilization, you make your civilization, all of a sudden somebody invents a rocket, and then the whole game the whole game changes from you playing around and eating smaller animals to flying around in a spaceship to explore and mine for spices.
Yeah.
That's Dune.
Yeah.
Now, I do have to ask you, because we're running out of time, where are you going to be December 21st, 2012?
Because Nick wants to be with you.
You know what?
Or, go ahead.
A year ago I would have told you I'd be in Vegas throwing every dime I had in the world down on 33 on the roulette wheel because that's a Masonic number and blah, blah, blah. But you know what what led me to write this book was a kind of a spiritual experience I had with somebody else, another person, and it was it was exactly November 8th, 9th of 2009, and it was right when Dr. Kalaman said we were shifting from the 6th day to the 6th night of the galactic underworld in the Mayan calendar, and people would start to wake up, and essentially I had exactly the sort of consciousness awakening that he predicted, which is really what started me on the path to writing The Choice. And so where I'd like to be is with somebody that I really truly care about, maybe that particular person, and just be very quiet and peaceful and think about, how I want this world to turn out, because that's where the power is, and that's where the hope is, and that's where the future lies, is what we decide it's going to be.
Now, I wish we could get that message out to more people, because I'm afraid that there are going to be so many people running around in an absolute panic like they did with Y2K,
Right.
storing up canned Spam and bottled water.
No, I have a little bit of that stuff, but not a lot.
Just in case.
And on my website, we're
couple of
selling
weeks worth.
bulk.
It never hurts. I mean, heck, look what happened with Katrina, with the whole thing in New Orleans. I mean, I live in L.A. There's earthquakes here. I'd be a fool not to have some provisions and stuff. You just should be smart, but you don't have to store 10 years of food, I don't think.
I don't know. That was the chore we gave my mother. She was so convinced that the world was going to crash because of Y2K, so we sent her out. Okay, Mom, it's your job to buy all the bottled water and stuff, because it kept her busy,
Right.
But I don't know. My fear is that it's going to be. I really am into the sun, believing it's sunspots, or solar flares. That
Kind of like the knowing.
Yeah, and that's, with something like that, it's hard to predict what could happen. And I just keep looking at all of the terrible things that are happening worldwide now. Is it because it's a 24/7 news cycle, so they have to fill us with every bad thing that happens worldwide? Perhaps all these things have been happening all along, and we just never have known about it because there was only so much time to devote to international news. But
Right.
you
That's
look
what I
at
tend to believe.
well, but then you look at all of the weird weather patterns all of a sudden, and the earthquakes and volcanoes, and the stuff that just it seems like has been happening on a more regular basis over the last, say, 10 years.
Yeah, well, that all has to do, and again, I talk about that stuff in The Choice in my book. That all has to do with this pulse of energy that we're in. We've been in this wave where around November, December, January, every year since 1980, we get hit by this torsional wave of energy, and it's gonna be extremely focused on in 2012, early 2013, and it's gonna maybe even be more pronounced at around 2016 to 2023. So we're headed into a phase where we're going to be getting a lot of energy, but the issue is, do we want the energy to cause earthquakes, or do we want it to cause people to start telling the truth a little bit more? There's different ways we can use this energy. It's our energy. We get to use it any way we want, and that's what I'm trying to get people to appreciate. It doesn't have to be a solar flare.
Okay.
All right. Well, I like it. It's kind of
Okay.
a whole positive thinking type of.
Yeah, well, it is, and it sounds silly, and like I said, I would never have believed that the CP crap would have been coming out of my mouth a year ago.
We'll see.
Here I am.
We've had so many different views on 2012. I mean, we've
yeah.
had like a whole like going green thing. Like, if we don't
Yeah.
take care of the environment,
What's the exact score? Are
if
we?
we
I
don't
mean,
recycle.
are more saying we're gonna die, or
I don't think anybody said. Well, I think one or
couple
two
did.
has said that.
Nobody
we're-
wants to say that because they don't want their career to be over if it doesn't happen. So,
Hellfire and brimstone. We're all going to understand things differently.
yeah, for sure.
Oh, you mean in 2 years we're going to see things different? Thanks.
Well, I know we had
You know?
someone on too that said that 2012 is just really and truly a guesstimate, that there have been so many different ways to read that calendar, and that particularly with the Christian calendar, you know, that there's like a 5-year difference where some monks way back,
But you know what?
did it
Not
wrong.
if you look at, but not if you understand that time is actually driven by astronomical alignments and movements of celestial bodies. And if you look at the alignments that are taking place, if you look at the fact that there's an eclipse on December 21st, 2010, exactly 2 years before the end of the Mayan calendar, long count calendar cycle, which is a coincidence that's way beyond any random chance. If you look at the fact that there's a major eclipse that is completely a perfect balance between east and west happening on May 20th of 2012, and then right after that there's a Venus transit. And again, in the book I go into great detail about how these things have affected us consciously and physically over the last several hundred years. Then you look at all that stuff and I disagree with them. I say that something really interesting is going to be happening in both the short term, the next couple of years, and in the long term, the next 10 or 12 years. So I don't buy that one at all. If you understand that time is measured by alignments of planets, then there's no question that we're in a really extraordinary, interesting time right now.
Now, like, didn't I say just a half hour ago, the universe is like watch gears?
Gosh, yes.
Yep.
Come on now. Come on now.
Okay.
Give me some credit. Give me some credit.
Years in a watch. You nailed it. You nailed it.
All right, I want to thank you very much for joining us today. We have on our website, whispersradio.com, all the information to get up with you. We have your book on there, so all you got to do is click on the picture of your book, and our listeners can buy it. I believe it's the Amazon site.
Yep.
And also, can I just mention real quickly, I've got my website's MikeBara.com. That's one R, B-A-R-A, so M-I-K-E-B-A-R-A, and you can get links to the book and a newsletter and this cruise I'm doing in March with all these big 2012 brainiacs and all kinds of stuff there.
Yeah, I've got that linked up on our website as well,
Great,
going
thank you very
straight to your
much.
front page. So.
Great, thanks.
That's great. Thank you very much for your time today. This is good.
Thanks, guys.
I had fun.
Thanks, Mike.
Have a good one,
See
Mike.
ya.
You too. Bye.
Bye. Can we take a break? We got a few. All right, you're listening to Whispers Radio. I mean,
How about that weather outside?
Yeah,
That weather
how
looks rainy.
Good grief. I wasn't expecting us to go to a break.
Do you
so
see how he is?
oh, okay.
So like, Lola, break!
I know.
Do it now! We're going to break now.
Demanding people I work with, I just don't know. This is like Black Friday all over again.
Give me my towels, dang
All I
it.
wanted was a towel.
Jordan says the intro, then just looks and stares at you. Like,
I haven't.
Hey, listen to that music. All right, you're
Like
listening to
that
Whispers
big.
Radio. We'll be right back.
Pulling out at first dawn's light. Gotta free my mind.
When it comes to cancer care, you deserve the facts. The American College of Surgeons Commission on Cancer accredited Wheeling Hospital as the region's only comprehensive cancer program. In fact, Wheeling Hospital's comprehensive cancer program received the Commission's commendation, its highest ranking possible. The Commission called our program impeccable. What's more, Wheeling Hospital's comprehensive cancer program was one of only 66 nationally to earn the Commission's Outstanding Achievement Award. Wheeling Hospital's Schiffler Cancer Center is internationally recognized, having treated patients from 34 states and 14 foreign countries. And our Schiffler Cancer Center is the only one locally performing cancer research and clinical trials. Remember the facts. The region's only accredited, award-winning comprehensive cancer program is at Wheeling Hospital's Schiffler Cancer Center. Wheeling Hospital, a tradition of excellence, a legacy of caring.
Passion for a strong and healthy you.
Nobody does it better than Peterson Rehabilitation Hospital. It's the Valley's #1 choice for rehabilitation services, where outstanding care counts. When you need to choose, tell your doctor your choice is Peterson.
Passion for a strong and healthy
When the leaves change color and start to fall, make sure that your basement walls aren't changing colors and starting to fall. If they are, call the professional licensed engineers at Engineered Foundation Solutions. We can stabilize your bowing or leaning walls and use our patented drainage system for your waterproofing needs. Take advantage of our engineering expertise and trained workforce and our acclaimed systems and products. As a good standing member of the Better Business Bureau and of Angie's List, we take pride in our business and reputation and continually strive to please our customers. Engineered Foundation Solutions, a locally owned family-managed company, encourages you to call for a free estimate and to qualify for our special fall discount program. Don't let the winter chill aggravate your problem. Make the right choice. Call the licensed engineers at 1-877-DRY-FOR in the letter U. That's 1-877-DRY-FOR-YOU.
So, Carly.
Yeah?
Just a heads up. This Angus burger right here, I love it. So I tend to stop talking when I eat it. I don't want you to think I'm ignoring you. It's just I'll be checked out for 3 or 4 minutes.
Wait, what? I kind of stop listening when I eat a Big Mac.
I love you.
The classic one-of-a-kind taste of the Big Mac sandwich and the big, bold taste of the Angus Third Pounder. So much flavor, you'll want to take your time with them. McDonald's, the simple joy of burgers. At participating McDonald's.
When you need a law firm, you need it now. You don't have time to sift through dozens of Yellow Page ads or remember all of the firms you've heard on the radio. So, simply remember this. The right attorney can make a difference. And in a recent survey, the attorneys at Gold, Corey, and Turak were selected as the most preferred personal injury firm in the Ohio Valley. That's why thousands of people in our Ohio Valley have put their trust in the experience and integrity of the Gold, Corey, and Turak name. If you or a loved one has been seriously injured as a result of someone else's negligence, before you choose an attorney, ask your friends and neighbors about Gold, Corey, and Turak. The experienced attorneys at Gold, Corey, and Turak handle the full range of cases: personal injury, medical malpractice, Social Security, and many others. Experience and integrity, compassion and commitment. Learn more at their website, gkt.com, or call 845-9750. Gold, Corey, and Turak. It's the only law firm name you need to remember, because the right attorney can make a difference.
Sure, there are lots of agents and companies I could buy my insurance from, but I like the agent I have, and I like the company I'm insured with. They've taken pretty good care of me over the years, so why should I consider changing?
Look, if you're happy with the company and the people now handling your insurance, by all means, stay with them. But if there's a question in your mind, check with Paul Associates Insurance and Real Estate, representing the state auto insurance companies. Compare the coverages, compare the price, compare state auto claim service, which is second to none. Whether it's for your car, home, business, or family, you won't find insurance protection better suited to your needs than with the state auto companies, where a policyholder is someone special.
State Auto, a friend you can depend on.
For special treatment, special products, and special service, contact State Auto Agent Paul Associates Insurance and Real Estate at 233-3303.
One is a ladies' man.
So you don't want a fish sandwich?
And one is possibly a lady.
I mean, they're just the right size, meaty and savory.
Catch Mother Love and Biff every morning at 6 on A Whole Lot of Love. Only on AM 1600 WKKX, the Valley's Watchdog.
Wow, you guys hired the long-haired guy from all those book covers?
Fabio, no. We hired the bald guy from Pittsburgh, Bill DeFabio. Listen to Bill every day, noon to 3, only on AM 1600 WKKX and WKKX.com.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Whispers Radio here on AM 1600 WKKX, the Valley's Watchdog, and UPRN, the UFO Paranormal Radio Network.
Wait a minute. Did somebody turn the lights on out in that hallway? Have they always been on?
I think they've been on all night. I think.
They weren't on when we got here.
I just went to the bathroom. They weren't on.
Oh, well, then maybe they haven't been on all night.
Now, I'm telling you, Brandon.
What?
Weren't we sitting out here at the
we
table
heard
and somebody was beating on the window?
Tapping.
We're the only ones here with the doors locked?
Well, I don't know. That beating is the proper
It was
word.
like somebody took a sledgehammer to the...
No,
It was
you said
tapping.
it was tap, tap, tap,
It was
tap,
tapping
tap.
on the window.
It went from tap, tap, tap to
beating.
it's a sledgehammer.
There was this giant man in a black mask with a sledgehammer and an axe.
No, I don't recall them lights being on.
Yeah,
Seriously, I don't.
I
we
don't
never
When we
turn
talk-
them
are you-
on.
maybe someone. You want me to go look?
No.
I'll go look. I mean, I'm not scared.
Yeah. That's funny, Nick. Nick just made him funny.
What?
I
I'll
wasn't
go
trying to-
look.
I'll
I'm
go
not
look.
scared.
I'm not scared.
Okay. He's talking like this.
I'm not scared at all.
Jeez, guys.
We'll send Brandon.
Brandon, go check real quick.
They'll probably run away
Honestly,
from me.
I don't remember them being on.
I don't either. I honestly don't. But I don't know.
I'm gonna go see now. This
Okay.
is driving me crazy.
It's probably Biff.
That's what I was going to
He came down to see what's
If
going on.
Lola doesn't come back, it's been fun, guys.
All right, anyway.
Lola was taken.
Just want to remind everybody that this is the last show of 2010. I almost said 2012.
Ooh, that's scary.
You turned the
Shut up,
light
our
off in the
lights.
studio there.
I turned the wrong way, and I thought, wow, that did turn lights.
Anyway, I'm sorry for interrupting, Jordan. Go ahead.
Okay. Like I was saying, this is the last show of the year.
Yes, it is.
We'll be
so
starting back up on a different day in January.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
It's good. It'll be good.
Anybody have Easter plans? My Lord. Anybody have Christmas plans?
Are you kidding? I can't plan a week ahead, let alone. Jeez.
I will have Christmas. That's it.
Yeah, we may. I don't
It's good.
know.
I tell you, 2012 Christmas is going to be on December 20th.
Yeah. Heck no. You don't buy anything after until the 22nd. Because if
Also
everything
knowing the
ends on the
last day of your
21st,
life.
why waste your money?
No, well, here's why. Because if I want to enjoy some presents before I die.
Beforehand, I see.
If I only have a day to play with stuff,
Yeah, you got a point there.
I'm going to suck it up. And then if not, I still
You still have all your
got my
toys.
presents.
Remember, I told you about that wife swap where this survivalist couple moved from, a relatively urban area up to the hinterlands of like North Dakota. And yet when you walked in their house, they had a big screen TV, they had really nice furniture and all this stuff because they made sure they bought everything on time, that they didn't have to start paying payments until 2013. So they had all this stuff because they figured the world was going to end and they'd have all their stuff.
Oh, wait till that bill comes in.
I know. I want to be in their house on January 1st, 2013. 'cause I got news for them. The Postal Service always delivers.
Yep.
No, I'm serious. That's how they bought everything. They looked for deals where they didn't have to make any payments till 2013.
Wow.
Talk about scamming the system. But yeah, they had a thing up on their wall, and their oldest daughter, it was a countdown calendar. So many days till the end of the earth, and they had those kids counting down, and they were little kids.
It's a game the whole family can play. Armageddon.
That was terrible.
It's like a
not
cult.
that funny.
It's like, because the only thing I could picture was like, if like, remember the Heaven's Gate cult?
Yeah.
Or like Jonestown or something. They're all sitting there. Yay! 5 more days till the end of the world.
Yeah.
It's like, what goes through your mind?
Oh.
So we don't have much time left. Jordan, what was your favorite thing that's happened this year with Whispers Radio?
Let's see. I liked Riley Martin. I did. I enjoyed Riley.
Everybody like Riley.
I'm gonna
It's
look
just
at.
his
I don't
voice.
even think he's.
He
I'm
was
looking,
this year,
I'm checking.
but that was enjoyable to me.
Yeah, because you weren't the object
One.
of his fixations. That's
Because
why.
it wasn't me he was flirting with.
You hope.
You're right. January 11th.
I remember it. And
I
then-
knew it was
year.
dark.
Yeah.
Because John ran the board that.
Yeah, John wanted to be here because
I don't know why, but John just wanted to be here.
John wanted to enjoy Riley.
John remembered Riley from Howard Stern and wanted a piece of that action. I mean, he even had the show recorded and played it in the morning show the next day.
Yes, I
mean, that was.
I know.
I don't know. I had fun on that one. A lot of good times.
And this year we were doing some Market House Bar and Grill. We were there for a while.
Yeah, the
remember that?
remotes. The remotes were fun.
Yep. So we had some remotes this year. We
You had another bust at the pen.
Second.
A little bit of
Now the
a little
first
bit more
year,
than the first time.
the first year we got some EVP,
Well, and this year, actually, we got my little thing.
and
you
you,
went crazy.
yeah. I mean, nothing jumped out at you, snatched you, and threw you into a cell.
Damn it!
But I mean, there was some stuff.
Yeah.
It is a cool building.
Ish.
Yeah.
I mean, just the best part of the Penn trip, I think, was at was it 5 o'clock in the morning when it was like me, you, Dwayne Claude, and like
Oh, all of us sitting downstairs in the sugar shack.
4 other people sitting in the dark in the sugar shack, and every
And-
time we even tried to be serious, everybody started cracking up laughing
Church
for
giggles started, and it was terrible.
And we spent the last hour laughing at absolutely nothing. And
Well,
we were
yeah,
like,
because we
there go the
couldn't
investigation.
see 1 inch in front of our face. No, I know.
That was fun.
Yeah, it was.
I want to go. I don't know if I don't know if I want to say I want to go somewhere else for the trip next year. But I know me personally, I want to take a trip somewhere.
I know. I want to go to either Waverly or Weston or Mansfield.
Yeah.
One of those
New
places.
Orleans. If I can rig that up some way, I'd like to go to New Orleans. Check that out too.
Hey, and
because that haunted mortuary.
Well, and we've got Joe down there. Joe can get us into places that we could never get into. Just us. Yeah.
Joe wrote on the chat room. He said, "I've seen like 15 ghosts since the first time you went to the pen."
Just rub it in.
I know
Rub it in.
It says, "Hurry up and come, bring Lola."
I really. That sounds like fun to me. It really does.
Oh, especially all the Joe's always fun to have on the show too.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying that because you're kind of the boss here. So.
No, he is. He tells really great stories.
But every time he goes
but
out
I don't
somewhere,
want
he
to
gets
get in a
something.
car. I don't want to get in a car with him. Because you never know where you're going to end up.
If I remember correctly, and my memory's probably making this, wasn't he firing bullets at some dark figure?
Yeah, he got out of the car at the swamp and started firing bullets at something.
Yo, I might have that wrong. If I do, you can call in, but I don't think you.
I don't
will
think
have
it's
to.
wrong.
Yeah.
No, and he takes off to go to the store, and 6 hours later, he's ended up in the opposite direction.
You know,
I'm not going in a car with Joe.
We go ghost hunting. We bring out, recorders. When Joe goes ghost hunting,
He takes a gun.
He goes ghost hunting. My uncle's got like deer on the. He's got Casper. Just mounted right there. With sheets. Oh, jeez.
Oh, Nikki.
Oh.
What about you? What was your favorite part?
Me? I had a bunch of different ones. I always do like Joe, and Joe calls in. I actually enjoyed. I don't know why, but we had Stanton Friedman. This erudite man that's talking. And we had him talking about the Balloon Boy hoax. Remember?
Yeah.
And that was just the most surreal moment ever.
See, I don't understand a lot of what he's talking about.
He's too smart for me.
I know.
He's
like he's fun to
Makes
talk.
my brain hurt. Who was the guy from? I'm terrible with names. Ancient Astronauts.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, he was fun. I remember him.
Giorgio.
Giorgio, yeah. He was a lot of fun. We had a
What
lot
was
of
that one guy who was talking about monkeys?
Barry
and stuff?
Fitzgerald.
Barry Fitzgerald.
Is
I don't even know if that.
Did we have him this year?
I think he was
I
last
was
year.
about to
But
say last year we had.
I'll
Barry.
give that one for it.
Yeah, I'm taking it anyway.
she's not going to give
That's
it
one
up.
of my highlights of doing the show, period, was Barry Fitzgerald.
And it's, I had planned for next week another Irishman, which I got to go home now and call.
Lola's like, well, next week will be the last episode.
And it's because I was looking forward to that.
Be our first guest of 2011.
I'm going to try that. We can try that, but I hope so.
Maybe we'll have to get the Ghost Adventures guys.
Oh, someone's calling him. So, we could try that maybe.
For Lola's sake.
If
She
for
loves
Lola's
that show.
sake.
Maybe we'll get the guy from Penn
She's
State.
went through
She
a
likes-
bunch of different ones that she's liked. I remember when she liked Ghost Hunters International. Then for a while you liked Paranormal State.
No, I didn't.
I thought
I've
you
never
liked
been a
it,
fan
no?
of Paranormal
We were just
State.
talking about how much you'd like if we had that guy on the show.
Who?
The guy from Paranormal State.
I wouldn't.
I would enjoy that
I
show.
wouldn't.
Well, I would say things probably that would make him mad. I think he's a sanctimonious little putz.
Let me put my finger over the button.
I censored myself. I do. Now, I'd like to have Jason and Grant on.
Yeah.
Because I would really... How come you never find anything, you guys? That's the first thing I'd ask them, because they never do.
Well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we had to debunk. I'm so tired of that word. Debunk. I'm serious.
It's funny that for somebody who had no knowledge of paranormal anything.
I know.
I remember when we came here and you're like, I'm not doing that with them guys.
I'll do it the first week, but you're going to have to find somebody else.
I'm busy.
Now she has a K2 and everything.
I know.
Now she has more equipment than we do and watches more paranormal TV shows than we do.
That's why a little bit of knowledge is a dangerous thing. I think I can do a parody now on Ghost Hunters, so that's how much I
I was looking it up. One of my favorites that I finally found, Nigel Kerner and we had Monica Holy on the same show, and they were the three. They were talking about the songs of the aliens, and then all of a sudden we get from like aliens, and they start talking about the Shroud of Turin, and we're like, what?
Oh yeah.
It was just one of the, and I even had people come up to me at work like, what the heck, what were they talking about? Because one minute we're talking, alien, next we're talking about the Shroud of Turin, and they're like, and it sadly kind of made sense, and I'm like,
scary.
So, and then she was the
See how
fringe
good we are?
dweller
We can tie it all together.
fringe dweller on the night shift, the one that would go to sleep and then go save people.
Oh, yeah.
That was just a fun show.
The dream
altogether, 'cause
superhero.
It was all
Yeah.
just weird.
Wasn't she the paranormal medic or
the
something?
paramedic or something like that.
Paranormal afterlife paramedic.
That's it.
Yeah.
There we go.
She'd go to sleep and
How to save people.
and she would come back as like a guardian angel. I mean, she would be a guardian angel in her sleep and be like, I'm going to go to sleep and I'm going to save you, Brandon.
Aren't you glad?
Wow.
Yeah.
Brandon was like, okay. So, it's been a fun year. It's been an interesting year. So,
Brandon, what about you, man? You've been with us for...
I've been for a little while. What moments I liked, like I said, was about that guy we was talking about, monkeys or something. I forget his name.
You're like me.
I'm not good with names.
yeah, one guy that had monkeys. I don't even
Yeah.
know what you're talking about.
We was talking about
no
Bigfoot
idea.
wearing flannels and...
what happened?
You was here for
Bigfoot.
that. It's like my second show.
Yeah, that's right, Lola. Remember, we were offered a Bigfoot trip this year.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
right.
What was that,
right.
February or
That's
something?
right, yeah.
You would have still been out there.
Yes,
Too, because
because I don't think he's found anything.
We need to find him. Find him because we need to have him back because he said he was not leaving until he found Bigfoot.
He's probably still there.
And I want to know what kind of a lonely Christmas he's going to have.
and since I'm not going to mention the name here. He was kind of a jerk. People know who I'm talking about. He made a big deal that I actually was, you're talking to me, and I'm the great. And I'm.
Oh, yeah, he was rude off the air.
He was rude off the air. I don't know if I'm going to call him back or not. One of those people I'd listen to all the time about Bigfoot, and honestly, he had got caught in a bunch of different hoaxes. I still wanted to talk to him anyways, just to see what kind of a person he was. Not really impressed.
We should really call him and see what he's doing.
Yeah, I'll give you some.
If not for an interview, call and see what he's doing if he's still there.
I might do that.
Just so we can discuss. That'd be good.
All right.
All right.
We're done.
All right,
We're
everybody.
done for the year.
Yes.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Be safe. Don't party too much on New Year's.
Yep.
We love you. Until next year, don't be afraid. Only believe.